Everyone. Before we get into this evening's live, I would like to go over a few areas of topics of what I find are concerning. First, we see XRPs down 1.21%, and right now we're at about $3.14. We've got, now I see misinformation already in the comments, but I that's about the kind of day it's been, so I'll just let that go. Let's see. So we've got XRP at $3.14, down about 1.11%. We've got cryptocurrency. I think it's in what is potentially a bear trap here, as I see a lot of inverse head and shoulders here. I see a lot of bullish consolidations is where we're backtesting prior breakouts. So I do see a line of a setup here where we actually have a lot of potential. We've got Bitcoin, which has been very, very volatile here. Very, very volatile. But still over that 104,000. We've had a nice back test here in the not so distant past here on Bitcoin. It broke out of a symmetrical triangle, and it's been within a rising broadening wedge as well. So the back test of the symmetrical triangle at least gave us some validity that we have some kind of bullish setup here, and that we should come up to about that 112,000 area, maybe 111,000. Yeah, I don't care about the haters in the comments, honestly. So if you guys want to comment, you can. If you don't, you don't. I really don't care, honestly. But as long as I know what I said, that's all that really matters. So anyhow, the symmetrical triangle is breaking out, but at the same time, it hasn't pushed through yet. There's always the chance that it could come back to 97,830. There's always the chance it could, have to hold the symmetrical triangle, but it's already back tested once. And it looks pretty clear to me that it is trying to build some kind of inverse head and shoulders here. And now it's just getting ready to blast to the next zone. That's what it looks like to me. If we put this back to the exact breakout point, that's how we get 112,000. I do appreciate everybody who's finding their way here. I know it's very difficult to get my content. It gets, it's a little hard to get my content to go around to everybody. Plus I've been reported a lot lately, so my content has been taken down in a couple different fashions. So, apparently my content isn't for everybody because some people don't have thick enough skin. But for the ones who are here, it's always a special occasion. It's always a special occasion. And as we go through the live, more and more people will find their way here. Over the past, I'd say for the start of 2025, it's been hit or miss as far as whether we've had the love or the hate in the comments. But I expect that to get more and more interesting as we go along. I really, really do, because jealousy sees no bounds. And, it's good to see that. It's good to see the hate in the comments, because then I know at least I'm hitting every group. If it's just everybody with the love and the passion, it just doesn't work that way. I have no thoughts on SCN. As you can see, the XCN crowd is very disheartening to me, so I'm not going to talk about it, to be honest with you. I've already talked about it. I showed the technical breakout all the way up to 1.8 cents, and I've shown what it needs to do. But the problem is the XCN community comes in here and rips on me all the time, so I'm not going to put my hard-earned time into it. That's just the point. And look at the first couple of comments here. It's always the same story when it comes to XCN. It's all an illusion. Thank you for the $5 donation. Thanks for not being an opium dealer. Without crypto, half these influencers would be trying to get you to finance a 2016 Honda. You're right about that. You're right about that. But there's a reason why most people like to fleece, heist, and shice their audience. They don't have any respect for them. Most people don't have respect for their audience. And I can't say I don't understand why. Because I can tell you for a fact, I come here and do this every single day for 4 years without a break. But some of the stuff you see, some of it's awesome. But some of the stuff you're like, I wouldn't mind screwing that guy over a few times or two. If that was the kind of personality you were. And I could understand someone thinking that. But anyhow, XRP right now, I don't think everybody should be very bearish right now. For the fact that Bitcoin's on the outside of that symmetrical triangle, even though it's still within a rising broadening wedge, the fact that it's within that symmetrical triangle, that is a very key dead giveaway that Bitcoin is still bullish. Even if its short term goes up, and were to get the rejection out of 112,000, still very bullish in the formation it's in right now, unless it gives it away, which obviously we would have to look at things for what they are. But as of right now, I feel very good about where we're at right now in the market. Just trying to realign this. I accidentally moved one of these. Let's see. But I feel really good about where XRP's at too. I mean, XRP, we broke out of a 7-year descending wedge. We came up into a pennant flag, and then we came up and out in a bullish megaphone right now. So every single one of these patterns has continued to hold the bullish dynamic. And at any time, if it gives it away, well, then we would know that, hey, something's not right. But again, we're bouncing off of this bullish megaphone. The technical target, if you bring it down here now, because yes, we did bounce around here. It's a little bit lower on the short bounce, the 340, but that's just to try to get past that double top. There's a lot of room to be here. Appreciate Tommy, bring me solace. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Joseph, thank you for the $2 donation and being part of Tom's Army. Yes, it brings me a lot of solace. Brings me a lot of solace. A lot of talk from Bank of America on XRP and also about Federal Reserve. Yes, there has been a lot of talk, but remember the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, I was asked a bunch of times yesterday and then this morning why I haven't talked about the CME going to be listing Solana and XRP. Well, I've personally felt that was a fake story because I didn't think it was from a verified source. And sure as shit, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange came out and said that this is not true. So all that FUD that came out yesterday turned into fear. So I didn't want to talk about it yesterday. After all this crap, it's up 1.08%, very stable. Tom's TA is unmatched. The wealth of knowledge is incredible. Yes, the knowledge is good. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is good. And then I know anti-communist asked me, and only because he asked me, I'll even pull up this chart because I've had it on. You guys all know what's going to happen on XCN. I've had it out here since before it happened. So if it breaks out of the 1.8, that's when you can double. You should be looking for at least up to that 3.4, 3.6 area. If this isn't just a double top, this is where it gets juicy because it had a pennant that was formed. And now if it breaks out of the pennant, you could technically come all the way up into this range. But before this ever broke out, I get a lot of criticism. I couldn't buy it because it's not on an exchange I use. But that somehow turned into me saying it's junk and that it has no potential. I showed the breakout before it happened. And I even showed the 1.8 layer and then what could happen beyond. So, that's where I get a little disheartened from some of the people that want me to cover something. So that's the length I'm going to show you XCN today. But just know, there's a huge potential. It's got to come up now. It's got to come up to this next capitalization here. Unless it's trying to put in some kind of handle, then it could back test this 1.8. But this isn't this isn't a surprise. And if you want me to be honest with you, XCN is just catching up to the rest. It took forever to break, and now it's doing it all in one pivotal move like most do. It was massively underperforming the market. That's why it looked like a good play. Not to mention JP Morgan, it's not an ISO, but I said if I could buy it, I would. And now it's up, God only knows how much, few 100% here. But it's an interesting dynamic. I can tell certain groups that I just can't be around. I've done this long enough to know when I got a dick group or a real human, a humble group or a group that shows humility. The XCN crowd's a bunch of douchebags, no offense. And that's just the way I've been treated. That's why I don't cover it as much. They can spew anything because they hate me now because I won't cover it, but when you get hurled insults for no reason or saying one thing or the other, that's when I kind of step to the side. Thank you, Bandito, for the $19.99 donation. And also being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Thoughts on executive order just signed, establishing crypto stockpile on, and ignore the haters, bro, not worth a second thought. Oh, no. I agree with that. Sometimes I just say my piece so other people know why I don't cover certain things. Even though I did cover certain things in the past, but then when it blew up, all of a sudden I didn't cover it. It's interesting. But the Syrian, thank you for that $1.99 donation, being a very trusted mod. But yeah, the executive order, I don't know. I've been reading through a couple of he's made a crazy amount of executive orders. Trump, executive order. Which one exactly are you talking about? Because there's been about 35 executive orders. Now, if you're talking about the stockpile, then that's something different. That's something I would want to talk about. If you want to talk about the stockpile, then we can talk about it. But if you're talking about some of the other executive orders, I'm not interested. The only one I care about is the stockpile. And when it comes to crypto. Yep, all right. So the stockpile. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Possible volatility in the next 60 seconds. We've had extreme volatility, but I think this is a bear trap for the most part. I mean, if this falls through, it falls through, but everything is aligning to the fact that I believe that this is a bullish setup, and I think the short traders are probably going to get kicked in the nuts. Probably going to get kicked in the nuts here. I actually bought more DGB. It was down over 7% earlier. And somebody in the audience talked about this morning, yesterday, they finally dumped into DGB. When we had this fallout, I bought more. Not because it can't fall out farther. And now I have 1.2 million DGB tokens. Because I figure with what I'm seeing right now, and if this falls out, our next layer would be about a 35% drop. So then I'm looking at it this way. I'm going to keep buying more of DGB. And I'm going to have a massive stockpile. I've got so many that I have stockpiles of that I have this faint feeling of what's going to happen down the road. DGB is the one that gives me the most solace because I can see just how beaten up it is right now. And this is not just starting. This is a long-standing setup here that eventually it's going to start breaking out. But I'm not going to go too far. I just want to see how this part of the pattern plays out. But one could argue that it's building a handle here on the short term. But anyhow, I don't want to talk much more about that. I want to get into the intro, get into XRP, look at the futures, the heat liquidation map, because I think that's very important right now on XRP, because we can see that there's well over 1.7 trillion in short liquidations. When we get around that, I know it's before 350, but I have a feeling that with a 99% certainty here, we're going to end up at a 350 and then beyond. And now I feel like it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I really do. I feel like something big's about to happen. I can't quite explain it. Look at XDC down 12%. Look at XDC down 12 freaking percent. Why do you think XDC is down 12%? Do you think it's because it had already broke out of the short pattern and we're consolidating again? Do you think it was behind XRP? Well, it had to backtest 10.9. That's why we had it there. Now it's backtested it perfectly. That was the breakout technical target. And now it's backtesting it at 11 or 10.9. It backtested it. So, I mean, if you're not in XDC, probably a good one. Probably a good one. Jennifer, welcome in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. I missed you as well, Jennifer. I missed the Kupiaks. All three of you. Even though two of you are related and one of you aren't. But still, it's good to see you in here. But XDC really looks like it's just backtesting the breakout. Really looks like it's just backtesting the breakout. Daniel says we are definitely going up to hit that liquidity on the heat map. I 100% agree with that. And then DGB real quick. XLM. On this channel, it was like a falling channel. Bullish consolidation. Backtesting the breakout. And it looks like to me a massive inverse head and shoulders. Like, I might not be the smartest man in the room, but I can tell you when it comes to the charts, I'm the wisest man in the room. Not because I know I'm the best, but because I understand them at a fundamental level. They can't trick me. So I think there's an inverse head and shoulders there. If it breaks down, it breaks down, and then we know the target's on the way back down. But as of right now, I'm honoring this as a bullish breakout. The big target here in the short term would be 62.8 cents, which conveniently lines up with a double top. And then if it were to break above, I still see in the future $1.17 if it can get out of this run. If it can get out of this consolidation. Joseph Kupiak, welcome in. Two of the Kupiaks are here. Now we're just missing Cape Cod Kyle from Massachusetts, not Florida, and not related, ironically, but the same last name spelling. I take notes from Tom that I can refer. Yes, I like that. I like that. Mr. Arnold, welcome in. I appreciate you tuning in. Frankie says, Tom, what the hell is going on with Jasmine? Still waiting for a break. I know, Jasmine. Like I said, I wasn't all that convinced on Jasmine as much as others in the audience, but I figured, it doesn't hurt to drop a little bit into it. So I bought 40,000 tokens, and now it's back down to where I bought it. So I'm not even up anymore. It's within a descending wedge. I like to say a descending wedge because it sounds better. But it's in a descending triangle. We could call it a descending wedge, make it sound better. I like descending wedge because then descending wedge all you have to remember is that's a bullish consolidation. However, it is a Chinese company, and that's been my one disdain since the beginning. So, that's my one disdain for it. Yeah, I bought 40,000. I dropped, I think it was like 1,300 or some odd, 1,400. It was somewhere around there. I can't exactly remember. But then it had a nice little surge, and then it just came right back down. But it's on this descending, almost looks like a friggin' descending wedge to me. It really does. It really does. But it's hard to determine, But in time, I have a feeling that this is going to have a huge breakout. I do, because when they consolidate like this in a fashion where that tightens like that, almost in a wedge, but it's in a descending fashion, these things tend to reverse all the way back to the top. Like all the way back to the top. And then some. So if that's the case, you're looking at a pretty mighty hefty reversal. Do I own Verge? I don't even know what that is. Now, if you are asking if I own the Verge of Insanity, yes, I'm on the Verge of Insanity. I do own that very nicely. But as far as Verge, I don't know what that is. AK, your favorite. Thank you for being in your second month in Town Zone. Thanks for all you do for me and your army. The way you share your technical knowledge is inspiring to want to help others and help someone else level up whenever possible. That is exactly my motive. That is exactly my motive. But I haven't read through the executive order yet. I wanted to wait until we had a clear and distinct direction here. And I think we have a good direction. Commodities, gold and silver. I actually bought a little more silver, paper silver that is, in the iSilver Trust. I know it's not the smartest way, but I already own as much silver as I need in physical and gold. So it's just a way for me to stockpile. So instead of selling my commodities, I just started buying more silver, paper silver, to balance my commodities. Because I have Fortuna Silver Mines, First Majestic, and B2 Gold. And I just kind of balance it a little bit. But I think there's major opportunity that's presenting itself. I think, honestly, when we look at this, I see two in particular that I'm like, my God, how long can this happen? Oh, look at this. It's reversed back into the bullish. This was down 3.7% earlier. Almost right before I came on. But I don't know how much longer this can hold. IOTA's got two massive inverted hammer. And then on this current one, almost looks like an inverted hammer back to back. And then Algo. I just simply don't know how much longer Algo, IOTA, XLM can hold without a massive break. I really don't. I really, really don't. I really, really don't. XLM's got a massive bull flag. Algo's got a massive bull flag. IOTA's got a massive, what you could call a bull flag. It just looks a little different. DGB's got a massive bull flag just in its own terms because it's a smaller price. It's pretty incredible, actually, what's going on here. This is starting to break out. Yeah, H-bar is already starting to make this move that we're talking about with Algo and XLM and IOTA. H-bar, XRP have already started this move. It needs to come up to 44.1 and then ultimately 53, but it did come up to it came up to about 40 cents already and prematurely touched. And now it looks just like, kind of looks like XLM. How they had these little channels that they're trying to break out of. That's exactly what XLM was doing. So we'll see. But it looks like the market in itself is starting to have a big push here. Starting to have a big push here. Yeah, XCM's been pushing. It needed to. It needed to catch up desperately in the last couple of weeks. It was lagging behind pretty hardcore. Like some of the other ones, though, there's some others now that are in that same positioning where XCN was a couple weeks ago, where it was massively undervalued. It really was. And now at least it broke up to do that 3, 4, 500% move and started catching up to some of the other ones that had already made the moves. But there's other ones here that haven't even made the move yet. We're still waiting on it. In a very big way, Axelar is one that I would definitely pay attention to. It has not made the move. It's in the Ripple, or it's at least linked to Ripple. It's an ISO token. And for all intents and purposes, this thing's been flat. Flat as can be. What the hell happened to my chart? I had a whole chart. I don't know what happened to it. Interesting. How do you feel about Chainlink? I've never heard much mention from you. I'm actually a fan of Chainlink, to be honest with you. I wish I would have invested in it long ago on that drop like I intended to. Now it's gone too far. I do like Chainlink. In the not so distant past, I used to talk about it. But you got to remember, there's a fine balance in this audience. Most of the time when I talk about something, people get pissed if it's not XRP. Unless something, you know, the Johnny come lately comes in and then something starts moving, then they might talk about something. But for the most part, I am not a fan. I am not a fan of ADA at all. Executive order allowed institutions to come in without fear of any particular crypto getting a Wells notice. That is interesting. That is interesting. We're going to read through it, I promise. I want to do the intro, and then we're going to read it. Good evening. 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Ooh, I fucking love VeChain and VThor. I tried to promote the VThor token, and people got mad a couple months ago. I still have small amounts of it. Nothing crazy, a couple $1,000s. And, well, it's worth that now. But I tried talking about the VThor token with VeChain, and I got murdered in the lives because people said that it wasn't important. So that's what I mean. Certain things I cut back. Just because I don't talk about it doesn't mean I don't actually own something. It's just certain ones I know will flow better. But VThor was on part of VeChain, so I liked it. Holding 1 mil SHX. Whew. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Wow. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So anyhow. Axion, though, is a JP Morgan backed prodigy, so you know it's something. Yeah, VThor was up for us one day, almost 300%. What, 3 days ago? But you know, Chain is an OG in the crypto space. Sure is. Better Markets just filed an amicus brief against XRP. They're the same guys. I've already pulled up XCN. It's not my forte. Some of you know why, some of you don't. But I've already spent too much time on XCN by spending 2 minutes on it. It's got to be, you can't come in here and people can't come in here with bad vibes, you know. You'd have to be here to know. So anyhow, Trump signs executive order promoting crypto, paving way for digital asset stock. I told you, the only way that I can do what I need to do is if I don't feel a certain vibe, I don't talk about it, period. And when people come in here being, you know what, well, some people were in here when it happened. So I just kind of separated myself from that particular token when it comes to my analysis. So crypto greets launch. What the fuck? All this stuff is horseshit. Like, I will never use a website that makes you pay for something. It's insanity. Like, this is all the same information. Why are people making you pay for it? It's ridiculous. Kind of how I feel with most influencers on YouTube. But, you know, I know the truth and most of you don't. Trump orders crypto working group to draft new regulations, explore national stockpile. So, January 23rd, U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday ordered the creation of cryptocurrency working group tasked with proposing new digital asset regulations and exploring the creation of a national cryptocurrency stockpile, making good on his promise to quickly overhaul U.S. crypto policy. So, we're anticipating regulations and a bridge line from banks to crypto. Got it. Just like we talked about before. The much anticipated action also ordered that banking services for crypto companies be protected, alluding to industry claims that U.S. regulators have directed lenders to cut crypto companies off from banking services, something regulators deny. The order also banned the creation of central bank digital currencies in the U.S. The order also banned the creation of central bank digital currencies in the U.S., which could compete with existing cryptocurrencies. Well, that's pretty stupid. That just tells me exactly what we thought from the beginning. Well, not stupid. It's a bona fide proves that Ripple is the government. That's why they would do that. They can't have somebody coming after their own competition, after all. On the campaign trail, Trump courted crypto cash by pledging to be a crypto president and promote their adoption of digital assets. That is in stark contrast to former President Joe Biden's regulators, which, in a bid to protect America, well, it's not Biden. We know it wasn't him. In a bid to protect America's fraud and money laundering, cracked down on the industry, suing exchanges Coinbase, Binance, and dozens more, alleging they were flouting U.S. laws. The companies denied the allegations. But if you remember, the witch hunt actually started under Trump. That's what's interesting about this. When the Ripple lawsuit was announced, who was in office? It wasn't Biden. It wasn't Biden. Thursday's order was cheered by the crypto industry, which had been pushing for the new administration to send a strong signal of support in Trump's first few days in office. Today's crypto executive order marks a sea of change in U.S. digital asset policy, said Nathan McCauley, CEO and co-founder of crypto company Anchorage. This is what bothers. This all is horseshit with the government. It's no different than when they abolished or had. This is just like everything we've seen before. They threaten the citizens and say that this is illegal to own, use, transact, and yada, 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 so on and so forth. They take the companies to court because it's all a big show, as we know. And then in the end, nobody gets in it early enough because they all think that it's a scam, a joke, it's not ethical, it's dangerous, it's done by criminal and cartels. For what do they see in the back end? The government just, this is going to be our new strategic reserve. This is the way it's going to happen. And yada, 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 so on. And so this is a bunch of annoying shit right here. If this is the way it's going to be when I read an article, I'm just going to stop reading articles. Because this is just getting a little ridiculous now. Like, this is the problem with trying to give information. Like, this is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. If I'm being honest, this is all unnecessary. The lawsuit was 4 years of exposure. I mean, for who? Exposure for who? 99% of the people I know that didn't invest in crypto or XRP is because of the lawsuits. Yeah, you're right. It was to publicly make it look like you shouldn't be in crypto. I get what it was for. It was to make the simpleton run the other way, buy their Bitcoin and gold. You know, Bitcoin and gold, they're trying to tell you they're both the same, but I can tell you vehemently they are not. SEC has repealed SAB 121, allowing banks to custody crypto assets. Absolutely negative exposure. And like I said, when Trump was in office before, who perpetrated the lawsuit against Ripple? I mean, you guys can tell me or you guys can act like it didn't happen. So I said it's not what everybody thinks. This is not what everybody thinks is happening here. If you want to, in 4 years, have the biggest the biggest arm of regulations you've ever seen come down when Trump was out of office, you're getting it. If you want to see in 4 years a complete downfall of everything we thought true, you're going to see it. And why? Because they're doing it right now, and what happens? We've released the Drum token and the Melania token and all these scam tokens. We've talked in this community for 4 years how this is all bullshit and how this is the easiest way to kill utility and bring in overreaching regulations. And what do we do at the same time? All right, Trump, thank you for releasing the Trump token and showing the negative. I mean, what the I'm sorry, that's not me. I'm not into that. I can see what's happening right now. They're killing our avenue right now. They're killing the avenue right in front of our very faces. It's interesting. Exactly. Do the opposite. I didn't say it wasn't. That's not what I said. I didn't say it wasn't very bullish. Tim, I'd stop reading through that particular article because of all the advertising. I'm not going to sit through there and make somebody rich when they're giving me no information. I know it's very bullish. I know what this means. That's why I said in 4 years, when they bring the regulator arm out, and we can't buy crypto in 7 years without having something injected in our finger, we'll have this conversation in 2032 because I'll be here. But, you know, I can see the writing on the wall. And, you know, the faster we acknowledge what's happening and stay in front of it, just like I've been since 21. I'm not the most popular person for a reason. That's why people hate me, because I speak facts. I love Trump, but I'm going to speak facts. I don't really give a rat's ass who it is. Would it sound better if it was Harris and she was doing the same thing? Would you agree? I'm just saying, if you change out the face, take out the person you like and put in somebody you hate, does it sound the same? That's all they do to us. They put Trump in because they know we like him. So if he does something, we're going to accept it. If Biden did the exact same shit, you guys would all be complaining to me right now in my audience that likes Trump. And all the Biden people would be cheering it, and now they're complaining because that's what I mean. Tom, you understand, can read the future and you can't. No, I know that. But that's the thing. Like, once you know and you can see it, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. You know, you still try to speak the truth. You still want to speak the truth. Like, I want to speak the truth, even if it's not popular. But it rubs me the wrong way because I can see, and this isn't a Trump thing, this is a government thing. I can see how the government is using Trump now, or Trump is using the government in the same way, or using us. Whatever you want. I don't really care how you call it anymore. I've already told you guys since the day I started, I don't believe in politics. The central banks rule the world, and whether it's Trump, Biden, I don't really care who it is. I don't care. Couldn't care less. For IOTA, you've got a couple choices. BITUNIX, you can buy it on the futures market, even in 1x. Or you can buy it on HOTCOIN in the spot market. But the problem is on HOTCOIN, you can't even withdraw it if you wanted to in Algos, or in IOTA. They suspended the withdrawal on IOTA and Algo for that matter. So personally, BITUNIX. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. Tom, check your email. Yes, I've seen your message. It's just anti-communist. I've been really busy lately, and with my son, he's been up and down. And even right now, I can tell it's going down the wrong way. And he's getting a little upset. So I don't know if he's going to be happy, sad, indifferent. I can't quite tell yet. But yeah, I definitely want to do that. It's just it's my schedule's out of control. It's out of control. How can XRP go parabolic if institutions don't come in? They need regulations. No, I don't agree. Absolutely not. Regulations are the death of crypto. Hello, everybody. Didn't we start doing, and not for the question, I'm not saying hello, but hello to my audience. Wasn't the number one point about crypto is there's no regulation? We don't have to worry about the government's involvement. Wasn't it the whole point of buying crypto? And all of a sudden, I told you this was going to happen in 21. We're going to beg the government for regulations. I said this was going to happen. I can't help it, but I knew this was going to happen. My whole audience that watches me for 4 straight years is begging the government for regulations. It's unbelievable. Yes, I am ticklish, actually. I don't understand. We're actually asking the government to cut our hands off and then slap us in the face with them. I just don't understand. Keep bugging the government to keep regulating and see what happens to this market. I'm not a fan of get my ass kicked by my own hands, you know, when they get cut off. You don't want regulations. The whole point of crypto was it was a deregulated market. There was no government overreach. What has happened to the people of the world? How stupid are we? Stop asking the government for their help, please. Tom, do you have a TikTok account with Millionaire with? Yeah, I have a TikTok XRP Future Millionaire, but I don't really use it that much because they always ban me. And they always say that I'm like, for example. and I got them to put my video back up, but they removed it because originally they said that my video was AI, and then it went against, I don't know, elections and some other bullshit. But it's not just in crypto that it irritates me. It's in my regular life. Everybody's asking the government for help. If you can't afford food, get a better job. If you can't afford healthcare, find a better way. You don't want the government's overreach. Congratulations, everybody, with XCN. I've already given you the technical analysis. You know, I've already said what I think. I've already said where I think it's going to go. And I wish all of you the best of luck with it. I wish you all the best of luck. But as you can see, 9 out of 10 comments, no, they're fine. But it always starts off with that hate when it comes to XCN from people towards me. So for that fact, I don't talk about it. I've shown the chart today, but I won't talk good or bad about it. I showed it before the breakout and said it was about to have a massive breakout. And if it was on an exchange that I could use and trust, I would have bought it. But there was no exchange that I felt comfortable with because I had an issue with Kraken on a withdrawal of $4,000 in the past, not so distant. And once it got fixed, I vowed to never use them again. So I don't hate XCN. It's a JP Morgan backed token. I hate it for that reason. But I don't hate the token in itself. It looked like it had massive potential from that 004 level where we charted it originally. And it's played right on through. So yeah, it's got massive potential, just like others. But XCN, all it's done is caught up to the rest of the market right now. It needed to catch up. It hadn't moved for fucking 2 years, basically. Not even 2. It didn't move through the whole cycle, and now it's moving. I think it's got potential. But I think the energy around XCN is not for me. You know, it's just not for me. I like to cover a lot of things that I don't own, but only if it makes sense for me. I'm not going to cover something when people are assholes to me. You know, like that's where I draw the line. I can't cover something when people are mean. And look, for the matter, we've got 245 people in here, 99 likes. Not even, what, 1/3 of the audience? So, like, you know, if you want to get the content out and you want to help me, expecting me to help you like I do every day, I need a little help from all of you as well. I don't ask for much. I come on here every day and I get beat the shit out of every single day. And some days I'm in a more happy voice. Some days I'm in a more focused voice. Today I'm in the I don't give a shit voice. You know, that's where we get. That's what happens in life. Sometimes you get pushed so much that sometimes you just don't want to, you kind of put up a wall. And that's where we're going. XLM right now, very, very desirable. Very, very desirable, in my opinion. But my opinion is my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to be one, nor do I want to play one, nor will I ever become one. So if you buy something, have some balls. If you get in trouble, have some compassion. That's all. If you want something, ask. If you make something, don't get big-headed. For everything you think you've made, I've done 10 times in a trade. So there's nothing you can say to me that would make me impressed or pissed. Because I've lost and I've won more than you could ever imagine winning, and lost more than you could imagine losing. So when you have both of those variables, it doesn't matter. So what? XCN went up a few %. I don't give a rat's ass. I really don't. What I care about is if you guys are making money and you're doing it the proper way. What I've seen out of that group is 9 out of 10 of you are just trying to rub it in. Don't live life by trying to rub in your achievements. Believe me. Believe me. You don't want to live that way. Now, if you guys come in here and you show some moxie and you show some respect, I'll show it more. It's that simple. You show me respect, I'm going to show you respect. But don't come in here and act like I'm an asshole and then ask me to do something for you. In Tom we trust. Thank you, Wales, Josie Wales. I really appreciate that. Where do you buy IOTA? Well, there's 2 choices. Depends which route you want to go. And there's obviously more than just 2 choices, but the 2 choices I know of that I can do, it's either you do the route I did and you buy it through BITUNIX and you do it through the futures part, and you can do it 1x and hold it just like a spot trade. Or on HOTCOIN, you can go on there and buy it in the spot. It's just you can't withdraw it through spot. So if you're buying it on there, it's got to be left there, which kind of sucks. So that's the 2 choices. I have BITUNIX where I have my IOTA right now in the leverage trading market. You can do it at 1x. I will not say what X I have it on, because it's not relevant. The point is that's where I own it. Exactly the same play to get people to pay for digital music. When we got used to free Napster, we all wanted regulation to keep downloading. Yeah, and what happened when we got regulation? They threw your ass in jail. Think about that. So are you going to ask for the same regulation that's going to lock you behind the lock and key? I feel for you, brother. Some people have no respect for you. They are dumb. Well, I don't want to say they're as dumb as rocks. I just think that they're... It's kind of like when you get into the race debate in the in 2025. You've got a bunch of people claiming racism because they were being prejudiced against, even though they don't understand their own history. And then you've got like me, I'm white, even though I'm really not because I came from Italy. But I'm white, so apparently I'm just, I'm a racist, and I owe reprimand, they want reparations and all this other stuff. And part of my audience is black, some of my audience is white, some is Asian, so I offend people on a daily, including my own race and myself. The point is we become victims in this country. When you become a victim, you start to get looked at differently. When somebody plays the victim to me, I laugh. When somebody plays the victim, I lose all respect for the person. You can't have stones and play the victim. It just doesn't work. So, it's just that's the mindset we're in as a society. It's not just the USA. The entire world's turned into a bunch of pansies. No offense, because I am part of this world, so I know. So if you are looking at it, because I said this world's a bunch of pansies, if you're looking at it that I've called you a pansy, well, haven't I called myself a pansy in that same framework then? No, it's not everybody, but we're turning into it. That's the point. Marco Tremblay, thank you so much for the $6.99 donation. I really appreciate that. Gabriel just signed up for Tom's Army. Really? Making me the happiest person in the world today. Question, what do you get for joining Tom's Army? Absolutely, positively nothing. You are joining Tom's Army because you want to pay it forward. What am I getting for putting all my content out for free for 4 years straight without a day off? Nothing. Except for my own self-respect, historical data, and a knowledge to pass forward to each and every one of you. So if you want to show me support, go for it. If you don't expect to get something in return when I give you all of this for free.
When you talked about pansies, I almost was the biggest pansy.
And I know, anti-communist, you're not asking me because you want something. I'm just being direct. You get absolutely nothing. You get to show me support and guarantee that I'm here, I'm putting content out, and I'm being compensated for my time. That's what you get.
And a cool emoji badge.
If that doesn't float with anybody's boats, that's great. But you also get the emoji badges. You get the you get certain things when you make comments. And you get all your content not behind a paywall. How about that? That's the best thing I can tell everybody. You get it without being behind a paywall. Yes, you get Tom's work. But I don't act like you're going to get something. Now, the people who pay, for whatever reason, there's the legendary supporters. I think there's one person right now which hasn't contacted me because I have their token and I need some further information. But the legendary supporters, I give them a different token of XRP every month and I sign it and put on whatever they want. But, nobody takes me up on that because that is actually some real serious money. Not anything compared to what we've earned in here, but still, it's $100. Nobody wants to just drop $100. So some people have. Who else is going to give you the truth and all his knowledge for free? Not many. Anti-communist, you just want to make me famous. I'm famous in my own right. I don't need to be famous. This whatever I get, I get. I'm not an attention seeker, nor does money. Like, here's the beauty of what I do. One, I really couldn't care less how many people follow me. I'm going to say the same thing, whether it's 1 or a million, like I said in the beginning. 2, money doesn't motivate me. So when you hear those two things, money doesn't motivate me. I think a lot of people need to understand that. Money's motivating to a lot of people. But for me to do something on this exact show, money doesn't motivate me. That's why I turn down every sponsorship. I turn down all the BS. I don't need to sell any bullshit tokens, all of you, because money doesn't motivate me. Most people you watch, money is motivating every decision they make in their program, and that's fine, but that's not me. You learned a lot about me tonight. Some of you will love it, some of you will hate it. But with that being said, gotta do it with a smile, remember? Gotta do it with a smile. You should stick to TA instead of politics, Tom.
We're not in politics.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would have deleted that myself. I don't speak politics, I speak fact. If politics happen to talk about what we need, if politics ends up working its way into the charts, so freaking be it. That's part of life, friend. But I think it's pretty short-sighted to tell me what I should and should not talk about on my own program. How about those marbles? For everybody who tells me I shouldn't talk about something, maybe you shouldn't comment about certain things. How about that? But no, I don't want to be that person, but I could. But no, I tend to stay away from politics for a reason. I tend to stay away from it for a reason. Jay Bizzo. Oh, no, I'm doing this for a reason tonight. I should keep ranting. I get it. I get it. I actually get it. Thank you, guys. Thank you to the haters. I actually get it. I got something tonight. I do appreciate it. I actually got something. Actually, it's big. It's actually a big thing going forward, but I do appreciate it because it's not just the haters I've noticed. Some people are only haters when they don't get what they want. So I've actually learned something. Nobody's a hater until you make them one. Daily close at 7 o'clock. And I mean, we stayed above this area still. It's just we've had this bearish cross. We've had a bearish cross. Tom, when do I get invited to the barbecue? When the barbecue is ready. When the barbecue is ready. I have difficulty finding the live. Any tips? Unfortunately, the only thing I can tell you is try to check every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. YouTube does not do a good job giving out my content. So it's a little difficult. It is a little difficult. Ooh, I like that, Mark. I like that comment a lot. But I do appreciate everybody who does find their due diligence and finds their way here. And what I mean by due diligence is not just following me or watching me. I mean doing your due diligence to try to find the content. But yeah, I'm still, unless this breaks out of this megaphone, which it is possible it breaks down and this ends up not being so bullish. But with everything that's built up, it does seem like it's more than likely going to be bullish than bearish. I really, really feel like that. I got scam wicked out at 307. Want to get back in at 309. Well, I mean, you got scam wicked out at 307. I mean, if you're not in right now, I'd be darn sure that it's not going to bust this megaphone. Because if it does, there is a route here where it could come to, well, I don't know. It already came to 303. But yeah, I mean, that's a tough spot to be out right now. That's a tough spot because if it does hold this area, let's just say it holds this, it doesn't break down. That's about a 10% move up to 340 to see if we get a double top. That's a tough top. That is a tough spot. I didn't realize I became the XDN future millionaire. See that, Julie? Because their tokens moving. When I try to talk about things, everybody gets mad. But now because certain people's tokens are moving, that's my whole chat. It's all about how much a token's going up. It's amazing. That's the certain crowd. Remember the ones that were being really mean to me? Mm-hmm. The crowd of people that came in that supported that token, and it was like the worst day. Mm-hmm. Only for a little bit longer.
Well, when you talk about big pansies, it made me laugh.
Because of your dad, the pansy flower?
The
yes.
pansy.
Biggest pansy of them all.
Only because it looks like it. And nobody understands that, but you and me.
No, they do not, Julia. Only me and you will understand that.
My dad looks like that.
Other than that, though, I mean, we got to watch. We've got to see if XRP can hold the megaphone. If not, it gets a little dicey. We've got to hold, to see Bitcoin Oh, and by the way, Julie was in here when you guys were rude to me with the XCN stuff, and she also was like, you probably shouldn't talk about that anymore. That's the only time she ever called my audience dickheads, was that day. In 4 years, by the way. So, you know, if it made an impression on her, you know how bad it was. So if you that's part of the reason. It's the only time she's ever said something mean about the audience in 4 years. But that was a day where, and she is not mean at all. She's the least mean person. It does take a lot. I mean, Bitcoin's still at 104,000. It's still not giving it away. It's bounced off of this formation up to 112,000. I still see 112,000 unless it gives this back, because I could see this rising broadening wedge on Bitcoin rejecting up there at 122,000. That is the technical setup. That is the technical setup. All the way up to 122,000 from when it had the cup and handle breakout. From when it had the cup and hand. Yeah, I can show you the megaphone, absolutely. I'll show you it on Bob needs to make more of an appearance. Used to work wonders in the day. Yes. Yes and no. It did. Sometimes. The King coming. Thank you for the $5 donation. Ripple versus SC unexpected action. New amicus filing today again by Better Market North. Yeah. Well, guess what? Guess what? Again, who's in office when this is happening? Like that, I said, don't expect it to be all roses once it happens. We've already seen the framework right now that speaks regulation. So if you thought there was going to be a quick dismissal by Ripple, or that Trump was going to quickly release this, it's going in the other direction. I don't know how much more blatant I can be. I agree, the King. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff that's going on right now. It's kind of, it's crazy. Wow, man and his dog with $100 donation. Holy smokes. Wow. That's a big one. Thank you for not only being in Tom's Army for over 1 year, but actually for over, what is that, 6 months? I can't tell. The XRP predictor. For some reason, the red's blocking it. Yeah, that's the predictor. Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much for that donation. And yes, don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on this beautiful Thursday evening. And now that there's more than one person preaching the name of our Lord and Savior, we know God is present here, which means, you know, that means I'm in trouble tonight because I was not on my best behavior. I will be punished. No, but I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that. You'll get this one out of every probably 35 lives. But hey, you know, sometimes things are said for a reason. But anyhow, I do appreciate that very, very much. And thank you for all the amens. I really appreciate that. Dry Wim Hof breathing technique and soothe our whole. Yep. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah. Somebody wanted the megaphone. The megaphone. We love the megaphone. Well, not the megaphone, but the megaphone pattern. So, the bullish megaphone, bearish megaphone, but the megaphone, if you look at the pattern right here, ah, crap. Best way is you have higher highs, lower lows, but it's not always like, it's not always 100% perfect representation, because sometimes it doesn't exactly formulate in the same. Because you could technically go like this and start pushing it like this. Now, I get that. Because you could go like that. But when you look at it, I was looking at it more like this. And if you look at it, it always says it's higher highs and lower lows. But technically, there's other ways to look at the megaphone. Because to me, until it breaks that the third hit on it, it's always going to look like it's not rising in that fashion. It's like you're kind of catching it in the midst of a pattern. So like when I look at it with XRP, and we come up, if we were to come up like this in time, it would have to come up to that next resistance. It's kind of like where it's a hypothetical, but if you look at it this way, it was setting up more like the megaphone, but it's kind of a fucked up the way it's set up, because technically you have to wait for it like this, but we're trying to front run this pattern. And you really could. It's just, I'm looking at the breakout like this. And now it's back below it again. No, it's not. But technically we need that one higher hit. And that's what we thought we were going to get when it came up like this. And then we could get the move here, but it hasn't happened yet. So, I mean, I could keep it like that. But technically, you've got this downtrending resistance that seems to be getting in the way right now. And that's the problem right now. That is our big problem right now. It keeps falling back below. And then in time, it should, if this validates itself, it should start like this. And then it should come up a little, even a little bit higher. But it's not. It keeps getting rejected here every single time it tries to come through here. So I was saying it's like a megaphone. Now, maybe it's not. Maybe it breaks down and maybe it doesn't come out the entirety of it. Right now, I'm just trying to keep the resistance lined up so we can see if we're below or above this line. And right now, unfortunately, we're below it. So I keep switching the way it looks, but if you're wondering why I have it like this, I'm trying to get this resistance. And look, see, it really is on the fringe. It really is. We absolutely need a FOMO push. We absolutely need a FOMO push. We need it to do something like this. We need it to start coming up like that is what we need. We need it to come up into that area. We absolutely do. But unfortunately, we're getting beaten down a little bit here. We are getting beaten down a little bit here. But for reference, it's not, when we first looked at the megaphone before it had this move, it was more of a more common setup. Now, one could argue that it's starting to form into something a little bit different. Because that's what I'm waiting for, is that third hit to validate the megaphone. Right here. We haven't got that yet. We've only got the 2 on the top. So I'm looking, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, but we haven't got 5. So, but yeah, that's what I got, everybody. That's what I got.
Someone said the other day you were about to talk about Pro, but then you had to leave.
Talk about what?
Pro.
Oh, Crypto.com token, CRO?
Yeah.
That is true. I was going to, and I'm glad somebody brought that up. Let's see. God, CRO is so cheap. It's insane. This is one that's, I've talked about this one many. For reasons, because I own it, but I just don't talk about it a lot. I have it because I have the Crypto.com card. And then, it just got so cheap that I started buying it and then started going up. But it hasn't been able to get out of its own way yet. I would say from the early part of this pattern, I would definitely say it was something like this in the beginning. That's interesting. See, a lot of these are back testing the way that they broke out. A lot of these are back testing the breakout. That's why I don't feel like these are bearish. It feels like they're back testing. Now, obviously, if it fell back within the test, it would be something. You could obviously say you had resistance right here. Resistance through here. So one could say we have some kind of channel formed. I get that as well. But it's playing through right now. It's pretty interesting what kind of patterns these are. Now, if for the record the market breaks through to the bottom side, this could get pretty dicey. But the CRO right now, it's on a breakout. It's back testing the breakout. And then it's got to get over the next tier. It really does. Otherwise, we're stuck into this consolidation zone. So, but CRO, I think if there's ever a time to look at it, it's in these areas. It's in these areas. It really, really is. But we'll talk more about CRO in the future. We definitely will. The rest of it's just is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But right now it's getting a little dicey here. But oh, real quick, the heat signature map for XRP, and then I'm gonna go because I want to go hang out with Julie, and I think I've overstayed my welcome today, and that's not a good feeling. So I definitely need to get on and forward with this one tonight, and then we'll get back to it tomorrow. So if we go into the 2 week. Plus, my son's going to want to come out. So we've got massive liquidity areas up over the top. Massive. Especially when you get over 338. If you look at $3.41, there's a $500 billion in liquidity. And the only other spot where I see any kind of alarming is down here at about $2.28. You get a bunch of liquidity as well. But we have such a big liquidity area right here, about 20 cents higher. 30 cents higher. There's a lot of liquidity there for the short traders. So definitely looks like it's going to be in that area. Definitely. Yes, I do like VELO a lot. But I got to go. I'm going to go hang out with my son. Have a blessed evening, everybody. We'll get back this tomorrow, and we'll be in a much better, hopefully, framework, mindset, positivity, all that good stuff. And yeah, today taught us a lot, but tomorrow's going to teach us even more, including myself. I learned a lot tonight about certain things, and certain